So with tariffs looming on $200 billion in goods, how will this play out in the markets beyond what we're seeing today? I want to bring in our traders. And guys, Sarge, I know you're there looking at a pretty decent market. No matter what the president says, the market's taking it as good news that whether it's a report from the Wall Street Journal or the Chinese saying we're open to freshening up talks here, that means a decent moment for the markets.
Yeah, we can trade this. I mean, positive headlines regarding China, Canada, Europe. It all seems to be coming, or at least moving towards a positive resolution, which is a good thing. However, in my research for being on TV with you today, I discovered some things that really made me angry. May I hit them with you?
Yeah,
May I hit you with them?
Go for it. We love anger. We love happiness. We'll take it all.
This morning, August CPI, right? It drops. Core CPI drops from 2.4% to 2.2%.
Okay, let me interrupt you. That's prices at the consumer level,
right,
an indicator of inflation.
Core consumer prices. September 26th, the Fed funds rate is going to probably be increased from 2% to 2.25%, moving the effective Fed funds rate to zero. The toughest, tightest monetary conditions that any administration has faced in over 10 years. All right? Quantitative tightening in October will go from 40 billion to 50 billion. Now, that's drawing in liquidity out of the economy. Meanwhile, lunatics like John Williams and Lael Brainerd, they advocate, well, they don't advocate, maybe they're advocating for a recession, but they speak as if they're not concerned over the possible inverting of the yield curve.
Okay, which, by the way, can we show that?
Sure.
We are now within about 20 basis points between the 10-year and the 2-year, and before people's eyes start to glaze over, and I know Phil Flynn has watched this, that's sometimes an indicator of sort of a precursor of recession, and they're getting close to that, Phil. Are you as worried as Sarge is about this?
I'm not. I don't see any signs, and I know there's a lot of people that are looking at that and say, hey, this is a warning sign. We had a couple billionaire investors saying the end is near. You know, we're in the bottom of the 9th inning for this rally, but I'm not seeing it. I mean, maybe I should be more scared, but I think this economy is unlike anything we have seen in generations, if ever.
But
mainly
Sarge just
because
called two respected Federal Reservists lunatics, because they want to continue hiking rates, but so do the Fed funds futures, indicating the same thing from the CME at 95% for, when is it, September 25th and 26th meeting?
That's right.
That is correct. I know, and Sarge knows lunatics, so I don't want to dismiss him on a point. I mean, he knows me, for example. Right. There you go. But no, I think he's right. I think the Fed is going to raise rates. I do think we have the tightest monetary condition, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because even with that, we're at a historic low.
Phil, even with that,
the economy is burning.
On inflation?
Yeah.
Without upward pressure on inflation, Phil, there's no reason for it.
I'm not. I look at the CPI today. It was relatively calm. I look at consumer confidence. They're not feeling the pain. I'm looking at small business confidence, an all-time high. So they're not feeling it yet.
Let me let Scott Bauer be the tiebreaker here, Scott. We're looking at a Dow which is up 126 points, and we were as high as up about 192 earlier. Trade, maybe there's some talking movement. Canada, talks are still continuing. What do you think happens with people's portfolios in the near term?
Thanks, Liz, and I hope Sarge doesn't think I'm one of those lunatics. But, you know, you look what's happening, and we see this great run in the equity markets. The bond market is that much larger. So I'm really watching the bond markets. I'm watching, as everybody else is, the flattening yield curve, which is getting almost as flat as a pancake right now, but it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't bother me. I think the Fed is doing an outstanding job balancing inflation, what we have of it, the economy moving along, in addition to also balancing the risks from tariffs, the risks from trade war. You know, we have to watch what's going to happen with investment spending, what's going to happen with business inventories, what's going to happen to the consumer. So I think they're doing a great job. I'm not worried about it at all. I hope I'm not a lunatic. I think we have that Goldilocks scenario right now, even though CPI was a little soft today.
We're all a little...
You're not a lunatic, and Jerome Powell is probably not a lunatic, so hopefully he reins in his troops.
Good to see all of you guys.
Sarge, you're the man.
Stephen Guilfoyle, Phil Flynn, Scott Bauer, battening down the hatches with the closing bell ringing in 46 minutes.